Hey guys, my name is Adam Bandler from Auburn, New Jersey, and welcome to today's C-Team Torah lesson. I'm here to kind of just give you the backstory of what's going on in my town with coronavirus and introduce the speaker for today. So, in my town, we're in quarantine and our schools are closed, our malls are closed, they just closed them today, and there's a statewide mandate for a curfew at 8 o'clock for all restaurants, grocery stores, and all that stuff's closed down. Um, so most schools are doing online learning for the next few weeks or whenever this is over. Um, so kind of ways that I've been keeping myself sane in these times are I've been watching a lot of TV and eating a lot, as most of us have probably been doing, eating and watching TV. I've been getting my Netflix list done. Um, so just a reminder to stay tuned towards the end of the video for the trivia question for today's video for a chance to win $50 to the C-Team Gear shop. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Rabbi Farkash.
Hello, my name is Rabbi Farkash, and I'm with the Chabad of Ormond Beach, Florida. It's my pleasure to be speaking to all of you. Let's talk about the coronavirus for a minute. It's all over the news, headline of every paper, all over social media. People are scared, worried, anxious. No one knows what the future holds. And rightfully so. This is indeed a very scary virus. Let's start off with saying that our hearts and our prayers are with all those that need a speedy recovery. May they be granted so quickly and be reunited with their loved ones. The Torah tells us, "Ushmartem ma'od lenafshei seichem." We have an obligation to protect ourselves, to be safe and healthy, and so we must follow all the rules, regulations, and systems that the health departments are putting in place for us. Wash your hands, social distance, and the like. Our question obviously is, what does Torah say about this? What's the Torah approach to such a situation? The Baal Shem Tov taught his disciples. The Baal Shem Tov, the founder of the Chabad movement, taught his disciples, the Hasidim, that everything we see, hear, and experience must be used as a lesson in our service to God. The Tzemach Tzedek, the third Chabad Rabbi, is famous for saying, "Trach gut wird sein gut." Think good, and it will be good. Which means that what happens up in here has the ability to affect everything around us. You know the famous saying, change the way you look at things, the things you look at change? The way we perceive our world, if we're positive and have a good attitude towards things, we will see positivity. If we're negative, if we're scared, well, that is what we're going to see as well. You see, even on a very physical level, a person who's healthy, happy, full of joy, has a healthy immune system, which helps you combat and overcome sicknesses. However, someone who's stressed, anxious, and worried, that has a very negative effect on your immune system, which lowers your ability to protect yourself and be safe. So let's stay positive. Let's remember that there's a God that runs the world, and everything that God does is for the best, for the good, and has a reason, even though many times we're not even sure what that is. And we may never know, but that is the fact. But by us having faith, trust in God, and believing that everything is for the good, we will actually merit, God willing, to see the best come out of everything. Here's a story that brings out the importance of faith. There was an individual from France who one day his daughter came home saying, "Daddy, my head hurts terribly." And a few days went by and he decided to take her to the hospital. They ran a few tests, a few scans, and unfortunately the results came in. She had a tumor in her head, a brain tumor. Now, obviously the father was very worried, like every father would be. And so he set up appointments and systems in place to be able to have her go to Boston, where she can get top doctors and the best testing. Doctors in Boston ran a couple of tests, a few more scans, and they came back with bad news. They said, "Sir, We have two options. Option A, we go ahead with an operation, try to extract the tumor from her brain, but there's a very big chance that she won't survive. You see, the brain is a very delicate place, it's a scary operation, and so the chances are very high that they won't turn out well. Option 2, your daughter has about 6 months left to live, go on a vacation, travel, enjoy the last few months together, and then say goodbye. Being that this individual was a chassid of the Rabbi, he decided to fly to Brooklyn, New York, which isn't too far from Boston, to ask the Rebbe for advice whether he should go ahead with the operation or option B. It was during the month of Adar, which we're currently in, and he entered the Rebbe's private audience. As you can imagine, he did not have the happiest look on his face. He was just given terrible news. And the Rebbe said something very interesting to him. As he entered the room, the Rebbe said, "Are you going to enter my room and bring a melancholy feeling into my room?" And he looks at the Rebbe and says, "Rebbe, do you understand? I was just told that my daughter has 6 months left to live." To which the Rebbe responded, "We're in the month of Adar. We've just experienced Purim. The miracle of Purim is v'nahafechu, that it turned over. Things looked dark. Things looked terrible. The entire Jewish nation was going to be annihilated in one day. And it all turned over for the best." And that was the end. The individual left the room, only to realize that he forgot to ask the Rebbe his question. He quickly grabbed a piece of paper. He jotted down his question. "Rebbe, do I go ahead with the operation, or do we just spend the next 6 months together?" And he gives it to the Rebbe's secretary and says, "Please, I traveled all the way from France to Boston, from Boston here to Brooklyn, just to get this answer of the Rebbe. Please run in and get me my answer." The secretary comes out, and the answer that the Rebbe says was, "I have already answered you." Now the Chassid understood that the Rebbe was referring to the v'nahafechu, that things will turn over for the better, but he wanted an answer. Do I go ahead with the operation, or do I not? And so he wrote a letter again saying, "Rebbe, I need a real answer, a definite answer, to go ahead with the operation or not." Now the Rebbe responded in a very interesting way. The Rebbe said, "If you want to take that route, go ahead with the operation." So he did. The operation was a success. However, the daughter lost her ability to speak. Some complications came up during the operation, and although the tumor was extracted, she lost her ability to speak. This individual was by the Rebbe to receive matzot as well before the Passover holiday, before Pesach, and while receiving matzah, he related to the Rebbe his situation. The Rebbe handed him 2 pieces of matzah, and the Rebbe said, "Matzah is the food of healing, and matzah is the food of faith. May your daughter's healing not have to wait for you to have faith. All the blessings." That's a shocker. Now, the father went back to Boston to spend the next few days with his daughter, and decided to go back to the Rebbe one last time before heading home to France at the end of the holiday of Pesach, Passover. The Rebbe's custom was that at the end of the holiday, he would make a farbrengen, a gathering, and would hand out a little bit of l'chaim, a little bit of wine, to all the participants and give them a blessing. So this individual got in line and waited his turn to receive a blessing from the Rebbe. As it came his turn, the Rebbe poured him a little bit of wine and told him, "The month of Nisan, in which the holiday of Pesach is a month of faith." It's when the Jewish people left Egypt. It's when we experienced God in a revealed way. Iyar, which is the month that follows Nisan, is the month of healing. So the Rebbe said as follows: Nisan is the month of faith, and Iyar is the month of healing. Let's make a v'nahapechu, let's turn it around, and your daughter's healing should not have to wait for your faith. When he got home, his daughter was talking again. So you see, the Rebbe was trying to push to this individual this concept that we really are given the option. how do we respond to things? You see, we don't control what happens in the world, but what we do control is how we respond to things that happen in the world. We can either take everything in a negative way, we can take it in a positive way. We can get frantic, or we can have faith. And the way we act is the way God responds. Remember, trach gut wird sein gut. Think good and it will be good. What happens in here affects everything around us. When we stay positive and we have faith in God that everything will turn out for the best, we take the high road. We overpass the natural order of things, and we are granted to see health, happiness, and goodness in our lives. So let's not forget that while the world is frantic and things are indeed scary, we have to be precautious, but that should not affect our faith and belief that God protects us, is with us, and will make sure that everything will be okay. Let me share one more lesson that we can learn. One lesson that we can learn from this virus. Again, the Baal Shem Tov, the founder of the Chabad movement, Hasidic movement, says that everything we hear and see must be a lesson in our service to God. What a powerful lesson we can learn from this virus. This virus is very, very small. You can't even see it with the naked eye. Yet it had a major effect on everything in this world. There isn't a country in the world, there isn't a city in this world, there isn't an individual in this world that was not affected in some way by this virus. Tiny virus. Can't see it, and it started with one individual. What does this teach us? We wake up in the morning, we look in the mirror after brushing our teeth, and we ask ourselves, can I really make a difference in the entire world? Does my giving tzedakah, saying moda'ani in the morning, my wrapping tefillin, my lighting Shabbos candles actually have effect on the bigger scheme of things? It's such a small little thing that only me, one individual, is doing. And you know something? Sometimes nobody even sees me doing it. Can it actually have a major ripple effect on the entire world and change the course of everything? Maimonides says, the Rambam says, we must always look at the world like an equal scale. And one good deed can tip the scale and bring redemption for everyone. One thing that this virus has showed the world is that is more true than ever before. If one little microscopic virus that nobody can see, that started with one individual, can have such a major effect in the negative on our entire world, imagine what kind of effect a mitzvah, which is a major thing, can have on our world. It might look small to you, nobody else might see you do it, but the effect that this mitzvah has on the entire world is definite. We should take this time while we're home, away from social settings, to have some introspection and think, yes, I might be one individual, but look at the power that one individual can do. One person goes out in the street, just being close to another person can affect them and all the people around them in the negative. Me, myself, in my town, in my school, in my home, in my family, imagine what kind of positive effect I can have on other people. Take this time, take these days to have introspection and think about the power that God has given each and every one of us. That if we only want to, and if we only believe in ourselves, we can have a major positive effect on ourselves, on our families, on our classmates, our schools, our towns, our cities, our countries, and the entire world. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay positive, and let's make the world a better place. Adam, pass the mic back to you. Have a good one.
Thank you, Rabbi Farkash, for that Torah class. Now, for those who don't remember how the trivia game works from last class, the 10th person to send the correct answer to CTeen's Instagram, which is @_CTeen, will win $50 to the CTeen Gear Shop. The winners will be announced later today on the Instagram page. So the question for tonight's C-Teen Torah class is, when was the first C-Teen International Shabbaton? Again, the question is, when was the first C-Teen International Shabbaton? Good luck.